Thank you. La prophète.
You're listening to the BBC World Service. Malawi is often called the land of the lake. A fifth of this landlocked country is water. This year marks the 50th anniversary of Lake Malawi's worst ever shipping disaster. In 1946, on only its fourth voyage, the MV Vipia sank. At least 145 people died, and only 49 of the passengers and crew survived. In this African perspective, Anna Mbima examines why the tragedy still evokes strong memories and emotions 50 years on.
No song has been sung of the Vipia that sank in the southeastern winds that came whistling down the slopes that were Livingstone. No diver has come up with a part that was the fateful Ribo Lake of the Vipia of Florence Bay. Yet I know she lives on under sea. Her past washed by the waters that are pure and cleansing. Even the oil slick that spread like an ulcer on the skin of the surface, marking how watery grace dissolved, disappeared forever. No one knows exactly where the Vipia went down, but 50 years later her memory starts to live on in my solitary song.
The sinking of the Vipia has haunted the author and poet Steve Chimambo throughout his life. He was just 10 months old when he travelled on the steamer's last successful voyage before it capsized. He's just one of a number of Malawians for whom the disaster still holds a particular poignancy.
My parents told me that I was on the Vipia on its last third trip. And they landed at Chipoka, which is at the southern end of the lake. And before they even reached their destination, they heard that the ship had sunk.
It was very sudden. The water especially was so fast that it came in. And that was it. And I could feel that the engine was still running in the water when I came out of it. I didn't know how many then passengers were survived, but I understand later that there were about 49 of us who survived the disaster.
Vipia was our bad tragedy, and we want to hope nothing like that we should go through.
The passenger steamer was ordered in the 1940s when Malawi was then the British Protectorate of Nyasaland. She was designed in Glasgow and brought from Scotland in sections. The ship was then reassembled on the southern shores of the lake. She was launched into service in June 1946 to great fanfare. There's the publisher, Prince Shonga, who's written about the disaster.
It was the very first ship of its kind, being launched on the lake 11 years after the Nyasaland Railways had acquired the operation of the passenger services on the lake from the Nyasaland government. So its inauguration is a very, very big event, publicized throughout Central Africa. It provided easy access now for the people in the north to be able to sail down, to come down to the south region. So it was quite a significant development.
The boat had only sailed 3 journeys when Norton Tindwa, who was a schoolboy at Blantyre Secondary School, learned that he was to travel on the new vessel. It was the end of term, and he and some of his school friends boarded the ship to travel home to the north for the holidays.
I think we were very excited because it was a relatively new boat on the lake. We hadn't been on it before because a number of us came by road then to school. But it was, I think, purchased when we were still at Blantyre Senior School, and the school had not closed. And this was, I think, its very new trip to the north. So there was quite a lot of excitement to see how, the steamer could serve us.
The 373-ton vessel had been commissioned by Nyasaland Railways, who ran the lake services. She was built to carry 315 passengers and 100 tons of cargo. The captain, Commander Farquharson, had 11 years' experience of sailing on the lake. In the wake of the sinking, a court of inquiry questioned the company's general manager, Rupert Bouquet, and asked if he'd ever had any doubts about the construction of the ship.
Were you satisfied yourself that the ship was seaworthy?
I took it as a matter of course. I know I had competent men, and it was competently designed, so the question of suitability or the seaworthiness of the ship did not enter into my mind at all.
Nevertheless, during its early sailing, some people had started to question the ship's seaworthiness. A military man, Major John Hargreaves, had asked the captain if the boat wasn't a little too top-heavy. The captain dismissed this idea out of hand. Pemberton Parley, who's now 82 years old, recalls that he had some serious doubts about the Vipya when he was taken on as the ship's steward.
Naliwo onyenya kwambiri kuti tilipa sitima indezo nankale popita pamene upita ku Mangoyo Kigalo ungoona kuti sitima ikwenda.
People were very happy about the new steamer here in Mangochi. It brought work. But when I went for a walk and watched it in the water, I could see it took 1 hour to roll from one side to the other. People laughed and said it was built like a castle.
Mzungu mmoja Mr. Hughes, Captain Hughes, anandiuza kuti
I'd been serving under a white man, Captain Hughes. When he heard I was joining the Vipya, he said, "Bemba, I don't like the construction of that ship. I'm sure it won't last long."
anandiuza kuti ndakibwanji sina ipande bwino.
The decks were built in a local wood, slightly heavier than that envisaged by the designers in Scotland. But whether or not the ship was suitable for the lake, everyone agrees that on its fourth and fateful journey, the weather was extremely bad. The wind started to blow up the day before it sunk. Captain Kingsley Likakuta is the shipping services manager for the Malawi Lake Services, and he knows from long experience what problems these winds can pose.
The Mwera is the southeasterly winds, and because they come from the south, then in our language that's the Mwera. You can see this Mwera is sort of, the wind is gusting. That's a bad wind when it is gusting.
Is it a difficult lake to sail?
It is a difficult lake to sail when you're in bad weather. You see, we can have a good spell of good weather on the lake, and when you sail at that time, you have a false feeling that because the lake is enclosed, it's okay. But believe you me, this lake should be treated like a sea. We sailors, we know that, and that's how we know it. It's a moderate sea, moderate lake, but can be one.
All right. So that's the assignment that you are supposed to do for us, or by the time you are writing your midterm test mid next month. So you should listen to it very carefully. Go to African Perspective BBC and be Libya, Lake Malawi. Listen to it very carefully, and then tell us what it is all about. Not more than 1.5 pages. African Perspective, MV Libya, Lake Malawi, assignments to you. Remember our first gone through and the American Psychological Association Style of Reference, APA Style of Reference. First of all, you should listen to this one a bit. It's 28 minutes. And 8 minutes might be too much for us here. Bring on listen to it and tell us what happened. There are many formats of referencing. apart from this one, there are the American Modern Language Association, referencing style, the Chicago Manual style, and other styles. In fact, there are more than 100 types of referencing styles. But we emphasize on the American Psychological Association style because that is the style that is the most common one. You will be asking questions. Why should we be bothered about referencing style? The reason is that when we are writing essays, we need to have a standard of some sort. If there are no standards, then it will be difficult for people to follow what is written, especially to follow what is your own writing and what is the writing of others. Because when you are writing essays, when you are writing academic papers, it's very important that you demonstrate that you have read what other people have said, and therefore you cite those other people. That is one. Two, you want to avoid what is called plagiarism. Plagiarism is reporting other people's words without acknowledgement. So when you write something that is not yours, you have to acknowledge. Because if you don't acknowledge, then that is as good as stealing, because that is not your work. When you acknowledge, it simply shows that you are showing academic respect to the originator of that piece of work that you are saying they wrote. And academically, you earn more marks that way. So, in order to ensure that everybody is using the same style, people have come up with different formats of referencing. But for our case, we use the American Psychological Association. Now, it is very important that we start familiarizing ourselves with this format, because we'll be using it for our undergraduate courses. If we go on to do our postgraduate courses, we'll still be using the same format. And it becomes a bit awkward sometimes when you are maybe in your advanced years doing master's or PhD, people should be reminding you that I think history, you should be using this style and so on. Questions are, where were you at the beginning? Right? So we should learn from now. The first is perhaps general guidelines for the APA style. when you are writing an essay, usually unless you are guiding others, you should use the Roman, New Times Roman style. And then the font size should be 12. On your keyboard there will be font sizes and so on. Let me see whether it can show. This is PDF. But if it was Word, if I click here, the various types will come on, and then you would use Roman. Demonstrate that. An icon like this will come on, and then there are a number of styles there. Like you choose this one, New Times Roman, and then you choose Pro. When you are writing a title, you write your title there. Every video you should centralize. So a title should be at the center. Like this. So there should be a title there, and then your name below the title, and for us, it will be your student number there, right? So when you are writing in Essence, it should be the title there, in APS Town, Georgie Webner, and then there should be a student number. For us, on top there, you just paste the logo of the university. Now, after the first page, which will have the title and your name and your student number, the second page should have an abstract. Sometimes when you are writing your assignment, your lecturers might ask you to write an abstract. An abstract is an executive summary of what the essay is all about. It's not all lecturers who ask you to do that. Others will tell you to start writing right away. So you don't have to have an abstract. Right? We are talking of a general outline of an academic paper. So an abstract is a summary. And a summary, at the end of a summary, you should have the key words that you are going to use in your essay. Let us see what we mean. Okay, so this is an academic paper here, and we find that it has an abstract there, and there are keywords there. So the whole paper, as you can see, is quite lengthy, but then sometimes you are not interested in reading that whole thing. So what you want to read is what the whole paper is all about. And by reading abstracts, you shorten your time, your reading time, because the abstract should be able to tell you what the paper is all about. And when you, as a student, you are given an essay to write, in most cases, you will be quoting something from the abstract that people have written. If you read, for example, this abstract, it will take you maybe 5 minutes and so on, right? Then you go on to another paper, right? You read the abstract and so on. So you can read as many papers as possible using the abstract. Otherwise, if you are reading the whole paper, it will take you ages and so on. So that is the purpose of abstract. Okay. Let us now go to the body of the paper. In the body of the paper, when you are referencing, there are two types of referencing. There is what we call in-text referencing. Referencing inside the text. So in-text referencing, and then references at the end. So at the end, where you have your references, the APA style is as follows. You reference or you put your references at the end, all the authors, all the books that you have consulted in alphabetical order, beginning with the surname of the first alphabet, going downwards. That is at the end.